Good morning, students. In the last class, we started with the module 3, entrepreneurship. In that particular chapter, we have discussed about what is an entrepreneur and what are the various skills that has to be present in an entrepreneur in order to carry out the various businesses in an organization. And also, we have discussed about the various characteristics. Okay. So before going to that, let us glance about this particular concepts once again. So according to the introduction which we have spoken earlier in the previous class, entrepreneur is nothing but is the one who is going to buy the product at certain price and sell the products at uncertain price, which represents that buying the product at certain price indicates fixed price and selling the product at uncertain price indicates an unfixed price. Like the profit will be fluctuating from depending upon the type of customers that we are going to get in the organization. Similarly, there was one more definition which was discussed earlier with you, is that a person is the one who is going to bring some new innovative ideas and convert those ideas in the form of a product and sell it into the market. When this type of situations comes into the picture of an entrepreneur, he will be under a certain risk. Why? Because it depends upon the type of product that he has developed, and also it depends upon the usage of the product. If the type of product and usage of product is profitable to the society, then that particular product will be having a successful marketing and successful rating in terms of profit. But if the product is not according to the requirement of the market, which has been developed by the entrepreneur, then the entrepreneur may face some challenges in terms of economical activity, whether it may be related to the profit, or it may be related to a loss, or it may be related to the other aspects which is related to the reputation of the organizations. So when it comes to the characteristics of entrepreneur, we have discussed about all these particular concepts, like initiative, which indicates that he is the one who has to take an initial decision in order to start up with the projects, and also the various activities which has to be carried out in the organization, and also perceiving the opportunities. Whenever we get a new opportunities from different customers, we have to accept that particular opportunities, and we have to consider it as a challenging task, and we have to try to complete that particular task within the specified time which has been given by the customer as an entrepreneur. So, and the next one is persistence. Persistence is nothing but, as I said, in Kannada we call it as chala, where we need the various actions which has to be carried out in order to overcome various obstacles which we are going to get in terms of development of any project, or in terms of selling of any projects which we have been designed and developed in our organization. Similarly, information gathering will help us to know what is the market requirement and how to implement the requirement of the market and convert that particular implemented code in the form of a product and sell it into the market. That will have information gathering will help us to know where we are and what we can do and how to satisfy the society. And similarly, quality of work. Quality of work deals with whatever the products that you are going to sell into the market, that particular products must have a very good quality with less price. Then only we can grasp the attention of the society towards our products which has been developed in our organizations. Similarly, we have discussed about commitment towards contractual obligations. Contractual obligations in the sense, sometimes we may face some problem while developing any of the product. In that particular case, we can't ask any excuses to the customers saying that this is the problem which we are facing and we can't execute this particular task. It's impossible to satisfy the customer, and whatever the problem that has been occurred, that is occurred only, it must be within the organization. It must not reach to the customer. If you go towards the customers will say that I have given you an order and it's your problem. You have to complete that particular task as per the registration, or as per the agreement that has been done by us before starting the projects. And similarly, all other aspects. And today we are going to discuss about from the experience point of view. See, whenever as a person, if I want to become an entrepreneur, then I must have some sort of experience in the field where I am going to start a business. Whenever I want to start a business, without an experience or a knowledge of that particular business, it's impossible for me to become a successful person in terms of business point of view. So if I want to become a business person or a businessman, then I have to gain some sort of knowledge, which is a basic knowledge, which is most essentially needed for us to start a business. For example, I want to, as a normal person, I am thinking to start a institute for the student. If I want to open an institute for the students in our society, then I must have some sort of experience about what are the concepts, what are the various subjects that students are looking in and around the society right now, and what is the type of knowledge that they are lagging behind. We have to identify those things. Identifying those particular aspects is possible only if you have some knowledge about the subjects which you are teaching with, and also the requirement of the society, requirement of the organizations. Like if I open an institute, the student will be looking forward in order to get placed in any one of the company, then he will be lagging behind the knowledge. So the student will be looking forward for gaining the knowledge in order to get placed in any one of the company. So in that particular case, the person who is going to start an institute to help the student in order to get placed, he must have some knowledge about what is the requirement of the, or what might be the requirement of the IT industries, and in what way we can train the students, and in what way we can help them in order to get through the examinations of IT sectors. So this is possible with the help of an experience itself. Experience is a one which can expertise a person in order to move further and achieve the goal successfully. Without an experience, if you start any business, at the starting position, we will be struggling a lot as an entrepreneur. Why? Because we won't be knowing anything. And we started and we are learning. When we start and learn, then it's very difficult for us to manage everything. Why? Because learning itself requires more time rather than managing. In that particular case, it will be difficult for them to manage the entire organization, and it will be difficult for them to move further in order to achieve the goal. Learning, and first we have to learn and then we have to start. Without learning, if you start, then it's very difficult. So experience can be gained first by learning. After learning, we have to execute it. Once you learn and execute it, you will reach the goal successfully within a fraction of time. But if without learning, if you start the business, then it's very difficult for us to achieve the goal within the specific time which you have fixed in your life. So this is the thing which this experience speaks about. Whereas the next point here is persuasion. What this persuasion speaks about? Persuasion is the thing but convincing someone. Like to whom you are, like as an entrepreneur, we must have the capability of convincing the customers, as well as convincing the one who is holding some financial funds in my organization. Convincing nature is must and should for each and every entrepreneur in an organization. Why convincing is required? Convincing will help us to make the customer get satisfied about what we are going to speak. Convincing nature is must and should to each and every employee. At the same time, convincing nature is must and should for each and every entrepreneur. An entrepreneur must have the capability of convincing someone or something to, and this is nothing but this will help the entrepreneur to bring some motivation factor towards the customer, wherein he can get satisfied with the words which he speaks with. Whereas the 13th point here is assertiveness. What is assertiveness? Assertiveness in Kannada we speak it as samarthane. What is particular another word of assertiveness? I have said you in Kannada, right? Assertiveness in the sense in Kannada it is nothing but samarthane. What is the other word in English for assertiveness?
Capable of.
Pardon? Please,
Capable of.
I am not able to listen your voice. Please repeat once again.
Capable of.
Capable of. Right?
Yes, sir.
When you are going to perform this operation, which is called as assertiveness, that is capable of. Where have you came across with this type of situation anytime? Have you tried to inform to say your parent that I am capable of doing this and I am going to do this and I want a support from your end? Have you done this particular, have you spoken about this particular words to either to your friends or to your family members or to your parents or anyone else?
Yes, sir.
When this particular situation comes into the picture.
After PU.
Pardon?
After PU, sir.
After PUC. Okay. What type of situation came into the picture?
To select this stream.
To select the stream. Okay. So you have convinced your you have represented your parents saying that computer science is one of the background wherein I can learn something and I can achieve something in my life. And I want to do this particular course itself, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Kind of.
Yeah. So that is what that is possible only if you are confident. That is possible only if you are confident and only if you are self-assured among yourself that I can do this. See, assertiveness is nothing but you must not give off anything. Best example as per the information that has been given by your friend. If you are learning something new, some new courses, you will be getting some obstacles in between. When you get an obstacle, you must face it and you must have you must have certain mentality in such a way that I will learn this particular course anyhow and I will do something by using this particular knowledge which I have gained from this particular course. So without giving up, struggling hard and working smartly and completing the task is nothing but an assertiveness. Assertiveness is nothing but confidently becoming an aggressive in order to complete the task successfully which has been assigned to you. That must be there in terms of entrepreneur. Any entrepreneur that you take, he must have a capability of this assertiveness. Why? Because he is the one, when he starts something, he must not go back, instead he must go front irrespective of whatever the obstacles that we come across in our life. Then only he can be a successful entrepreneur. We can't say that every time we will be successful. We may be successful in some time, we may not be successful in some other time. When we are in successful mode, whatever the happiness that we get, the same thing must be there even if you are not successful. If you are happy and if you are not successful, fine. Today I am not successful. The same thing I will repeat and I will be successful person tomorrow. That is what assertiveness speaks about. It is nothing but commanding yourself, saying that I can do it. I can do it. That is what this assertiveness speaks about. Whereas the 14th point here is monitoring. What is monitoring? Why the entrepreneur requires this particular process called as monitoring? Monitoring is nothing but controlling process. Monitoring is nothing but controlling process. So as an entrepreneur, you must have some hold towards the employee. You must have some hold towards the employees. You must gather the information about the employees' working nature and working culture. You must gather the information about the behavior of each and every employee when it comes to the working nature, working culture of an organization. So monitoring is a process which helps you to identify the employee's behavior and employee's nature and culture in the organization. Why we require this? Why we require this monitoring process? Why we need to gather this particular information about the employees? Any answers from your end? You are the entrepreneur and I am the employee of you, or employee who is working under you. Why you are going to gather the information about my nature and my working culture? Why you want to monitor me as an entrepreneur?
To improve the productivity.
To improve the productivity. Then only one student is answering. Totally 103 students are there. Please be interactive. Yes, to improve the productivity. Then any other answer?
Sir, in order to know the
Pardon?
strength and weakness.
Strength and weakness.
To improve the
entrepreneur-
quality of the work.
Quality of work. Okay, then. And one more student, she says that change in working process is possible with the support of this particular monitoring process. Any other answer? See, monitoring is one, as you said, okay, change in the work and this will help us. See, the main important thing here is monitoring will help us to know the employee's nature. Why we need to monitor the employees. If you don't monitor an employee, then the employee can behave according to his requirement. He may work or he may not work. If I have one eye towards my employee, then automatically, at least for that particular fairness, that my boss is seeing my work and I have to report that particular work within the time period which has been given by him to me, then automatically the work culture increases. See, but one thing that I like to tell you all is why, because tomorrow you may become an employee or an entrepreneur in the society. As an employee, you must not be under policing sector. You must not, like, your boss must not monitor you. Why? Because you are a good worker. If you work efficiently without thinking about the person who is behind me is watching me, without thinking about it, if you work effectively, then nobody monitors you and you will be having a certain freedom to work on your own and you can complete the task and achieve the task successfully. But when it comes to the today's generation and today's organizations, monitoring is must and should. If there is no monitoring process, then automatically the work culture in the organization spoils. As soon as the work culture in the organization gets spoiled, automatically the organization name and fame decreases and the economical background of the organization also decreases. So in order to overcome these drawbacks, monitoring is must and should for each and every entrepreneur. And here the entrepreneur must have that particular capability of monitoring and motivating the employees as well as punishing the employees. If the employee is having some problem, he has to motivate him and he has to give some sort of suggestions and he has to make him to work. If the employee is not working properly at all, if he is coming and sitting and he is going back, then the entrepreneur must have the guts to face that situation and punish that particular employee also. That is the one thing that is also the one requirement which the entrepreneur must have. But some entrepreneurs in and around the world, They start the business will run, but they don't have the capability of monitoring. Even though if they monitor, they won't be having the guts to punish the employee if the employee is not appropriate. Why? Because he is having some fairness. If I punish him, tomorrow what he may do? Why? Because he knows something about my organization. If he goes and if he really releases that particular information to someone else, I may face some problem. So if this is the case, then he can't do anything. He must not have this fairness. He must not have this fairness. He must have and courage in such a way that whatever the thing that is going to happen, it will happen. You have to, if the employee is not appropriate and if he is bringing some loss to the organization, then you need to punish him, and that particular punishing capability is possible if you have courageousness in yourself. So this is what about the monitoring is. And the next one here is credibility. Credibility is nothing but believing in someone. Believing in someone. In terms of an entrepreneur must believe their employees, their suppliers, their customers. If you don't have believeness among your employees or suppliers or customers, suppliers are nothing but the one who is going to supply the resources to the organizations. Okay, so if you have the believeness among the employees, customers and suppliers who are going to provide some resources to your organization and bring some profit to your organization, then only you can lead your organization successfully. If you don't believe the employees, then it's impossible for me to achieve the success. Why? Because there are some entrepreneurs who will be thinking that even though if he works properly, if the employees are working properly, he won't have belief among the employees. If we don't have believeness among the employees, then it's impossible for us to achieve the task or a successful. So the entrepreneur must have this particular capability. Believeness among the employees is most essentially needed. Why? Because this is possible only if this believeness comes into the picture, then only the quality of work can be achieved successfully, and the quality of being trusted will help the employees to motivate themselves and work in an effective way and get the success to the organization. And this is what about the credibility speaks about. Credibility is nothing but, in Kannada we can say it as ನಂಬಿಕೆ. ನಂಬಿಕೆ ಇದ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ಫುಲ್ ರೇಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ನಂಬಿಕೆ ಇರಲಾರ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ಫುಲ್ ರೇಟ್ ಬಹಳ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ಫುಲ್ ರೇಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ನೇಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಫೇಮ್ ಕೂಡ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ ರೇಟ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದ್ರೆ automatically name and fame of the organization also decreases. At the same time, the organization will be under a loss. So this is what about the credibility speaks about, and this is what about the characteristics of entrepreneurs. Understood everyone? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
What? Please speak out.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Shall we move towards the next concept here? So the next concept here is classification and types of entrepreneur. See, the entrepreneurs are broadly classified into different types based upon the type of work that they are going to carry out. Here there are 4 different entrepreneurs which has been classified into 4 different types. There are 4 different types of entrepreneurs which I am going to discuss with you today. One is, what is a social entrepreneur? Social entrepreneur is a person who pursues knowledge of application and potential based towards the community problems. See, here it indicates what? It indicates, see, social entrepreneur is the one who is majorly concentrated towards the social cause of the society. Any social cause of the society can be solved by taking the support of a social entrepreneur, and this social entrepreneur is a group activity. It is not a single activity, it is a group activity. An entrepreneur with group of people together can solve the problem of the societies. Whether it may be related, there are different types of problems which we are coming across in terms of our society, isn't it? One is, it may be based upon orphans, it may be related to child labors, it may be related to the various problems related to our elders like Rudrashtama, and there are different types of problems which we are facing nowadays, isn't it? Solving those particular problems by bringing some solutions is possible with the support of social entrepreneur. He is the one who is going to solve these community-based problems. And these individuals will be taking the risk and efforts to create positive changes in the society. They are not a profitable entrepreneurs. They are not looking for the profits. Instead, they are looking for the change in the society. When we try to do some changes in the society, automatically there will be a lot of risk. When there is a risk, even though there is a risk, they will put lot of efforts and they will try to bring some changes to the society by bringing some awareness towards the various people who are running in and around the world. And this particular social entrepreneur is a one who is non-profitable entrepreneur. He is not going to think about a profit, instead he is going to think about the change which has to be brought into the society. Whether it may be related to the product based, or whether it may be related to the culture based, or whether it may be related to the behavior based, or whether it may be related to the relationship based, there are different types of problems which we are going to come across. So all these particular problems can be solved by taking the support of a social entrepreneur. And the main key factors of social entrepreneur here is, a social entrepreneur is the one who is interested in starting a business for greater social good or not, without pursuing any kind of profit. Is one who is going to think about the goodness of society. And this particular person, social entrepreneur, may seek to produce environment friendly products. I said you, like, whether it may be related to the products, whatever the products that he is going to develop and send it into the market for free of cost or for minimum cost, that particular product will be an environment friendly. It must not affect the environment. The products must not affect the environment. Those type of products he will be developing and he will be sending it into the market for on minimum price. And similarly, he is the one, like here the examples of micro social entrepreneurship is microfinance institutes. Like we see in terms of government sector, we see DSC and MSME. These are the various microfinancial organizations which comes under the government, who is going to support the women's entrepreneur. They will be providing some subsidy to those particular person who is going to start some small business by sitting in their houses, and they are going to help them in order to start the business and run the business in a successful way without expecting any sort of profit. Instead MSME as well as DSC, these are the organizations which will provide some subsidy. If you are going to get a loan of 1 lakh, they will give the subsidy of 25,000, and they will ask you to pay only 75,000. They will pay you 1 lakh and they will ask you to pay 75,000 monthly wise. So non-profitable organizations and non-profitable managers, we call them as, those person we call them as a social entrepreneur. Similarly, education programs, banking services, as I said to you, and orphan houses, like children's orphan houses and blind remand homes, and the children's who are disabled. There are some sort of organizations which are running in and around. Those type of organizations we call it as social organizations, and the entrepreneur and the owner of those organizations, we call them as a social entrepreneur. They are the one who is meant for social cause. And this particular social entrepreneur might also seek to address imbalances in the society. What type of imbalances? Like social problems or social stigma associated with residents of such communities. But the main goal of social entrepreneur is not to earn a profit, not to earn a profit, but rather to implement widespread improvements in the society. Widespread improvements in the society. And this particular social entrepreneur must still be financially in need of some sort of things to succeed in their cause. As I said you, they will expect some minimum cost from your end in order to move further and help you out. That particular minimum cost which they are expecting from your end is not for themselves, instead for helping others and trying to bring some changes in them and bring some change in the environment of the societies. So this is what about the social entrepreneur. Whereas serial entrepreneur is one of the very toughest task in the toughest task today. Serial entrepreneur is nothing but every day he comes up with new idea, he starts the process, he works on that particular process and he tries to complete the task. Every day new idea, new process, new task. Every day new idea, new process, new task. When this type of situations comes into the picture, then that particular entrepreneur is considered as a typical entrepreneur. Why? Because every day new ideas and start new business. Today I have started with one business called as I want to sell some books. Tomorrow I will sell some other components. Day after tomorrow I will sell some other components. Depending upon the market requirement, I will change my ideas and I will go on selling that type of products. Every day selling different types of products without sticking on a single thing is called as a serial entrepreneur. In this particular case, the main important drawback of serial entrepreneur is it will be a difficult task for him to manage the things. Why? Because today, based upon yesterday night idea, today I have brought some 20 books and I am trying to sell it into the market. Today's night idea I am going to implement tomorrow. Day after tomorrow's night idea I will going to implement next day. So every day with new idea, with new business is a very difficult task. Yes or no? Yes or no? Is it possible for you to manage?
Yes, sir.
Is it possible for you to manage different businesses? Different business. Serial business is nothing but n number of different businesses with different new ideas. So there are some people who is owning a shop, at the same time who is having a financial sector, at the same time who is having some sort of other businesses in and around the world, isn't it? Yes, best example is your Reliance platform. Reliance platform is having different types of products, isn't it? They came up with petrol bunks, they came up with phones, they came up with Reliance digital and they came up with Reliance market, they came up with Jio market, they came up with the Jio Wi-Fi market, isn't it? N number of businesses with n number of profits. Every time new ideas, new businesses. One single firm has having different types of businesses. Similarly, Tata Consultancy Services, Tata Technologies we call them as. TCS is one of the part of it. Then Tata Technologies is one of the part of it. Then there are like Tata Development Products is one part. There are 24 different sectors in under Tata Technologies. So n number of businesses is run by one single person. That particular person is considered as a serial entrepreneur, and this particular serial entrepreneur is a one who is having a very much responsibility to someone else and move on with new ideas and new ventures. But this is a very bad practice in the days when we come across with some sort of problems. Why? Because we can't say that all the ideas and all the practices that we are going to put every day, all the new ideas and all the practices that we are going to put every day may not be a successful one. Petrol bunks of Reliance, we got a failure. we got a failure and there is a loss there. And similarly, when it comes to the Reliance mobiles market, earlier it was good and later it has been completely under a loss and it has been closed. So depending, these are the things which we may come across, in our society. But profit, in terms of profit, if I speak, if I run only one business per day, I will earn 100 rupees. If I run under the single firm, if I run 100 businesses, I will earn 1000 rupees. One day one business 100 rupees, one day 100 business 1000 rupees. But we must have that particular capability of managing all the businesses in time, which we may find some failures in some entrepreneurs. Like they will try to let us take an example of myself itself. I will try to come up with I am working here. Along with that, I am trying to become a guider for other students in and around the society, and I am thinking to start an institute. I am thinking to start a social welfare societies and so on. So thinking is fine, but how you are going to implement it is a very toughest task. The time is less, but ideas are more. How you are going to manage those things? When you want to manage those things, you must focus on those things. If you focus on those things, then automatically you must not think about your family first. We must be far away from the family, frankly speaking. Why? Because within 24 hours, managing 100 businesses is not a smallest job. A risky venture, but more profit. Risky venture, but more profit. We may lose our family also. We may lose their interest towards us. Or there will be some sort of disturbances in the families, and there will be some sort of various obligations in and around our family members also, when we want to become a serial entrepreneur. But the profit will be more. As here I have mentioned in the figure, you can see, try many ideas, go one big idea, then finally you will be becoming a billionaire in the society. But becoming a billionaire is not a big task, but managing the people, family, employees, and all other aspects related to your various businesses is a very toughest job. It is a very toughest job. So we call it as a risky venture. Which is adopted by the serial entrepreneur. And this is what about the serial entrepreneur is. Next is lifestyle entrepreneur. Lifestyle entrepreneur is the one who is going to do on his own. He is the one who is a creator of his business. He is the one who is going to develop his own products. He is the one who is going to sell that particular product into the market. He is not going to depend on anyone. He is not going to depend on even employees also. It doesn't require any employees also. A lifestyle entrepreneur is the one who requires who requires a knowledge how to start a business, and what based upon his interest. I want to become a lifestyle entrepreneur of so and so. I want to develop some products and sell it into the market, and I am not in need of any of the support of other employees. So that will be the nature of an lifestyle entrepreneur. He is the only one person who will think about his business. He is the one person who is going to implement his business according to his requirement, and he is the one person who is going to gain all the profit towards his lifestyle. And this particular person, this one best example that I can tell you towards the lifestyle entrepreneur is, today's generation is running with the internet, isn't it? Without internet, it is impossible for us to survive. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes, right. So here the lifestyle entrepreneur is an entrepreneur who makes their living online. Their business will be online, everything will be online. Whatever the products that they are going to develop, that particular product will be sold into the market through online mode itself, without taking the support of anyone. Instead, by taking the support of network. by taking the support of network. All the needs, all the lifestyle entrepreneur which is required is, a lifestyle entrepreneur requires is, one is laptop and an internet. Laptop and internet connection to manage their businesses. There are several tools and softwares they use, but they are portable. And they are not tied down. They won't be tied down as we. Why? Because they will be sitting in one place in their house and they will be developing some products and they will be taking those photos and they will be selling it into the market. Like you are, as you are seeing today, most of the women entrepreneurs are running their businesses by sitting in their house itself. They are developing some like stuff, eating stuffs, and they are trying to sell it into the market through Flipkart or Amazon and so on. And similarly, nowadays I am finding more difficulty in order to manage the things, as we see in terms of status. Some of the students of me also, they started their own businesses through online, and they will be putting some hundreds of photos in the status representing some necklaces, dresses, with some codes to it, each and everything. That is also one type of online business which we call it as lifestyle entrepreneur business. Lifestyle entrepreneur business. So sitting in the house and taking the support of some components and selling it into the market is one of the is also considered as a lifestyle entrepreneur. And here this particular person doesn't require anything rather than the network and the network as well as a laptop, and they will be offering the services. Like, what are the services that they may offer is coaching, consultation, and similarly selling the product into the market by taking the support of Amazon or Flipkart or any other things. So this particular person doesn't require anything rather than they require only a few things, which is called as we call it as something as a registration of his own firm by sitting in the house. For even if you want to run your business by sitting in your house, you need to register your firm. Sir, I want to sell my product which have into the market. If you want to sell your homemade product which is eatable in the market, then you have to take the license of FSIE. That is food license. We call it as food license. They will test and they will give the license of it. And for that, you have to take TIN number and GST number in order to sell that particular product into the market through online mode also. So this type of things we call it as lifestyle entrepreneurs. Understood? Understood, everyone? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
ಮಾತಾಡ್ರಮ್ಮ ಎದಕ್ಕೆ ಹಂಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ? Okay, the last and foremost types of entrepreneurs here is cooperative entrepreneur. So just a minute. Sir, ಹೌದು ಸರ್, 12 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಸರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್. 11:00 ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಸರ್. ನಾನು ಲಿಂಗರಾಜ್ ಶಿವಕೇಶ್ ಮೂವರು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಸರ್. ಇಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ದೆ ಸರ್ ಇಷ್ಟೊತ್ತೊಂದು ಲಿಂಗರಾಜ್ ಇವಾಗ ಹೋದ. ಎಸ್ ಸಿ ಲ್ಯಾಬಲ್ಲೇ ಕುಂತಿದ್ವಿ ಸರ್, ಇವಾಗ ಹೋದ ಲಿಂಗರಾಜು. ನಾನು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವನ್ನ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್. ಓಕೆ ಸರ್. ಸರ್ ಬೇಡ ನಾನು ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಸರ್, ನಾನು ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ. ಆಯ್ತು ಸರ್, ಇನ್ನು 15 minutes. ಓಕೆ ಸರ್. ಇಲ್ಲ 11:00. 12 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಇರೋದು. ಸಾರಿ. So let us continue. Cooperative entrepreneur. What is cooperative entrepreneur here? Cooperative. Have you heard about the cooperative societies? Yes. My dear students, please reply back. Have you heard about this particular cooperative societies? At least tell me. If you are not interested to have an interaction, I will go on speaking with you. I go on explaining the things. If you are not ready to interact. Fine. So cooperative entrepreneur is the one who is going to work with the n number of people. He is not going to work alone. Cooperative entrepreneur is the one who is going to run various cooperative societies. Best example that I can give you here is in Ballari we have various cooperative societies. Out of those, one I will take as Ballari Urban Cooperative Society, which is located in Idiga complex in near Durgama Gudi. That particular cooperative society contains a president, vice president, similarly secretary, treasurer and the other members in that particular society, wherein this particular panel is the one who is most essentially needed in order to take the decisions in order to run this particular cooperative society, which is called as Ballari Urban Cooperative Society. With one single decision, as a president I can't take my own decision and I can't implement it. If I have some sort of decision to be taken, then I have to take the approval of other members who are acting as the members of that particular society. So the cooperative entrepreneur is the one, that is what he says. Cooperative entrepreneur doesn't just alone work alone. He is the one which has to collaborate with other cooperative entrepreneurs to develop or to take any sort of decision, whether it may be development of products or whether it may be related to the society is related to the finance oriented, then that particular the decisions can be related to how to fix the finance interest and what must be the interest that has to be given to the customer if we come up across with funding towards our cooperative society. There are a lot of things which comes into the picture. So but almost when it comes to the cooperative entrepreneurship, cooperative entrepreneur is the one who is going to take the decision by taking the support of other people who are most essentially involved in terms of that particular society. And this particular cooperative societies are those which are most essentially concentrate on providing some products into the market with reasonable prices. And when it comes to the development of products, but when it comes to the cooperative societies which is related to finance aspect, then they will be providing us the loans with minimum interest. They will be providing us the interest for funding the finance in that particular organization with high profit, depending upon the situation of the cooperative society and depending upon the rotation of the money in and around the customers with that particular society. The profit will not be stagnant towards the customers. The customer may expect more profit, sometimes the customer may expect less profit from the organization depending upon the flow of income which is going to come in and around the society. And each and every cooperative entrepreneur must have the best skills in order to manage the organizations. Nowadays we are seeing lot of cooperative societies which are private cooperative societies are getting closed down. Why? Because they are not managing the things in a proper manner and they are troubling the customers who are funded in that particular organizations. Most of the cooperative societies, if I have 100 cooperative society in and around the world, out of 100, 80% of cooperative societies are not stable. Why? Because they are behaving according, like each and every member of that particular cooperative society are not cooperating each other and they are behaving according to their needs only. They are not thinking about the customer, they are not thinking about the funds which they have to get, they are not thinking about anything else. Instead they are thinking about their own benefits. When we think as a cooperative entrepreneur, if I think for my benefit purpose instead of thinking about others benefit purpose, then automatically that particular cooperative entrepreneur will lead towards the failure, not towards the success. It will lead towards the failure. Why? Because he is not going to manage the organization for the benefit of the customers. He is going to manage the organization for the benefit of him. Cooperative entrepreneur and social entrepreneur are one and the same. They have to think about the social awareness. They have to think about the customers. They have to think about how we can satisfy the customers and how we can build our cooperative society to the more and bring some name and fame in the society. But it is not happening in terms of any cooperative society, and the cooperative entrepreneur is not thinking about all these particular aspects. Instead, they are thinking about the profit of his pocket. What is the profit that I can get in my pocket? That if this things happens, then the cooperative entrepreneur cannot be a successful person. Cannot be a successful person. Okay, and this is what about the classification and types of entrepreneur. So in today's class, we have discussed about the remaining concepts of characteristics of entrepreneur, and also we have discussed about classification and types of entrepreneur. Classification and types of entrepreneur, there are 4 types. One is social entrepreneur, second one is serial entrepreneur, third one is lifestyle entrepreneur, and the fourth one is cooperative entrepreneur. In the next class, we shall discuss about barriers of entrepreneur, and also we can discuss about economical development of role of economical development of an entrepreneur. Once we complete with these 2 concepts, we will be completing with and the first chapter of module 3. First chapter of module 3. Once we complete with all these particular concepts, we will be completing with first module, and we will be moving further with identification of business opportunities, where we will be dealing with 4 different concepts in this particular chapter. Okay. So hardly I require another 3 classes in order to complete this particular module. 3 or maximum 4. So once I complete with this particular module, I will be giving you one particular sort of assessment which is related to the combination of module 1, module 2 and module 3. One particular event for you all by grouping you as one single team. One team, 4 students. 4 students has to work on various concepts which I am going to send you by next week. By next week, I will be sharing you that particular details, and I want each and everyone to work on that particular project and submit that particular project in time. And this particular project is not related to the coding part, instead it is related completely to the theoretical part, which will help you to enhance your skill towards how to organize yourself, and how to behave yourself when it comes to the matter of working culture and working nature, as well as towards the society. Okay, so this is what about the today's class is about. Okay, so next class I will be discussing about